All right. Well, my clock says noon, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome you all to the November 3rd Thursday training. Grow Nebraska hosts these trainings every month on a different topic. They are always free and they are always open to the public, so we're glad you guys are taking advantage of it. This month's training is sponsored by Grow Nebraska and the Nebraska Retail Federation, and we're pretty excited about it. We're going to be telling you about some new opportunities and some new ways to get more customers through your door. So our featured speaker today is, of course, Jim Otto from the Nebraska Retail Federation. And so Jim is going to talk to us a little bit about why this is so important. Jim, I'll let you take it away.
Well, thank you very much. I am Jim Otto. I'm president of the Nebraska Retail Federation. And first of all, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background on what the Nebraska Retail Federation is. To probably the surprise of many of you, we've been around for over 50 years. We haven't really tooted our horn as loud as we should. Our primary obligation or our primary mission is to lobby the Nebraska legislature and the federal congressional body of Nebraska for things that help retailers against things that retailers don't like. One of the things, just to give you an example, is it was through our efforts that we got the law on gift cards changed. It used to be you had to turn unused gift cards over to the state of Nebraska as unclaimed property. We got that changed a while back. We do things, we're constantly trying to get more for collecting and remitting to retailers to collect and remit sales tax, different subjects like that. But the biggest issue that we are fighting for right now is the threat. I call it click cancer. The threat that online-only sellers, and I'm talking about the Amazons of the world, the eBays, the Overstocks, and countless others like them, have, and the threat that they have to taking business away from brick-and-mortar retailers. And brick-and-mortar retailers are, as we all agree on the call, are the absolute fabric of local communities, and we really need to step up our game in order to compete with the online-only sellers. As you all know, the Amazons of the world that have no physical presence in Nebraska are not required to collect and remit Nebraska sales tax. That's another issue we've been working on to try to get changed. Haven't been successful. We're going to have more legislation in the coming session to try to change that in Nebraska. But for that reason, we decided that we really need to work on helping people get more people in their stores and help bring the attention of the public to how important brick-and-mortar stores are to their community, because when people shop online and don't pay their sales tax, they're actually taking away from their local community. Because, for example, the city of Lincoln's budget is over 40% sales tax, and I'm thinking that's true in Grand Island, maybe Kearney, et cetera, different towns. So anyway, we wanted to try to help get more people into local brick-and-mortar stores, try to help brick-and-mortar stores open their digital doors, not just their physical doors. And for that reason, we are excited to be teaming up with Grow Nebraska, because we feel that Grow Nebraska really has a lot of expertise in those areas and can kind of pull people together. So I'm just excited to be on the call, listen, maybe have some input, and then also encourage all of you, as we talk about these various subjects, that it's an opportunity for everybody to share tips that they know of. So that's pretty much my dog and pony show. I'll turn it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, first off, I'm going to check and see, did everybody get the handout that we emailed out?
Yes.
All right. And everybody was able to open it just fine?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So we've kind of broken it up into 3 steps that you should start with to evaluate where your business is at and what you can do to drive more customers through the door. So the first step is, of course, figuring out where you're currently at. And what we recommend is being very honest with yourself. Make a list of like 5 things that are working and 5 things that aren't, and keep this as a reference. And of course, you're going to want to address the things that aren't working, probably first see if you really want to keep those, and then see how you can enhance the 5 things that are working. The second thing to look at is to do an evaluation of how your employees are representing you. And Janelle, I believe you had a great story about this.
Well, and I want to stress with everyone that's on this call is we are very excited to work with the Nebraska Retail Federation. And what our goal in all this is, again, to help provide promotion and awareness to Nebraskans and to get them to wrap around, to shop for Nebraska, to go into your store. So these are just some ideas. And also I want to stress, if you have additional training topics that you're interested in, we would love to host that. That's our goal. But, a story that's close that I think really fits to almost every rural, smaller town, I don't know, and probably even into Lincoln. There was a successful hardware store in a small town in Nebraska that was very successful. Wally was the owner's name, who greeted everyone. Now, statistically, all of you probably on this call know that by simply just greeting a customer that comes through the door, you have an 80% chance of actually getting them to purchase something if they start an interaction with you. Join in the conversation. Now they became part of your dialogue, which we all know at the end of the day, price does play a part in people making decisions. But at the end of the day, people buy from people they like and people that they are their friends. So Wally was the kind of guy that as soon as you walked through the door, he greeted you, said hello, made conversation, thanked you for coming in, really did a great job. A young entrepreneur came in and bought the business and actually put a very nice woman in the front of the store, but she was a very quiet personality. She didn't greet people. She was more of an individual that should have probably been in the back, working on inventory, merchandising, very organized, but not that high energy personality. Within 24 months of the new entrepreneur taking that business over, it closed. And so that's always been a really important reminder to me how, and even with the Grow Nebraska stores, we struggle with this too, but just getting our team to be engaged and greeting customers, because as Jim said, they don't have to come through our doors. There's lots of other places people can go to shop now. So it's really important that we have our A game on and that our employees are representing the face of our business and that they're bonding with our staff or our customers. The other thing that I think is really important, and we're going to go through a lot of things, and actually Heidi Garvin will take over. I'm going to talk a little bit, but things that our mothers taught us years and years ago. If you have a customer that has a nice order, I don't think there's anything more important to do than to write them a thank you note. Because at the end of the day, word of mouth is still our best form of advertising, and people like to feel appreciated. So we work on that in our stores, and I work on that with people that I work with. It's just something that I hope all of you are still doing or probably are doing. And then obviously I want to, compliment all of you for even being on this call, because it's a consistent learning curve, and being lifelong learners is what's going to keep our doors open. The other thing is being consistent with branding. I get a lot of risks on a regular basis because I put our staff in T-shirts, that are logoed on the front and in the back. And the reason why I do this is because they are walking, talking billboards. Not everyone in every situation likes T-shirts, and I totally understand that. So I'm also really big on creating a really unique, fun, professional-looking name tag. Because when I shop, I love to be able to call the person by name that's helping me. It just, again, builds that relationship. And so it is an investment, but I think that's something that's really, really important. The other thing, and I know it can affect our margins, but again, it's creating that experiential shopping, which that should be everybody's goal at this call. And I want to stress with you, if you don't pick up an idea today from this training, let us know. You are, because you're participating in this training, can get 30-minute technical assistance free from Grow Nebraska. We'll either do a personal call with you or set up a Skype training. So it's really important to me when you get your surveys, let us know if you were able to pick up one idea. I think with the cooler weather setting in, Nebraska looks like winter's going to finally hit. You need to offer complimentary coffee, possibly water in the summer. It won't cut our margins that much. And if you have a product that can be sampled, again, you all know the whole scenario. If they pick something up, the likelihood of people purchasing it becomes that much stronger. So I think that's really, really important. The other thing is your signage. Take a look at your signage. We, in our retail stores, are switching out our signage or reviewing our signage on a regular basis, and then, obviously the displays. But I don't think people now more than ever, that's so creative and are so important, and we need to make sure that signage is very visible. I happened to be driving yesterday. I was actually in Lincoln, and I saw someone had a really neat, it had a fall sale sign, but it was different than what I had seen before, and I actually took a photo of it. Because the other thing I'm going to tell you guys is, why recreate the wheel? If there's a retailer out there that that's doing really well, Heidi's going to talk about how you can follow them digitally, but, why not utilize what they're doing? And I always thought this was sort of a unique, for those of you that have a parking lot, we've always taught our employees to park in the back or, get close-up parking. Well, you'll notice that most consumers will not pull into a brick-and-mortar store if there's nobody at the store. It's kind of like a restaurant, how do you pick if it's a good restaurant? Well, there are cars. So take a look as you do a physical drive-by. Do you need maybe some of your employees to park a little closer so there looks like there's activity in the store? I think that's also really important. And then, your outside signage. And I know there's lots of wonderful resources in Nebraska that will assist. There's Main Street, Nebraska, obviously Nebraska Retail Federation. Also, Extension has a number of programs. So we're very blessed in this state. So if you want to know about other resources, I want to make sure that we can tell you that as well. Another thing that I'm a really big believer in is gratitude. In today's society, we cannot say thank you enough. And I'm hoping that everyone on this call has a sign above their door that just reminds people, thank you for shopping with us. We can't say that enough. Again, we're in a very competitive market, and so people need to feel like they're appreciated when they shop there. Something that works really well with Grow Nebraska is in every month we switch out and do a different thing, what we call a sack stuffer, where we have a different message. We might offer a coupon scenario. Obviously, you all know the 80-20 rule. Generally, 20% of your clients will do 80% of your business. I really feel that in retail that's a similar scenario too. So we try to get our shoppers to keep coming back. So on their second visit, on their next visit, we will generally offer them a incentive. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I think that's really important. I already talked about the power of the handwritten note, the sign of thanks, complimentary copy, experimental shopping. Are there any questions or anybody else have any ideas on those topics that's really worked well in their stores?
This is Gary Novotny with Gary Michaels Clothiers in Lincoln.
Yes.
And I wanted to just interject a little bit on the refreshment area. But we do offer a soda, bottled water. We do have a espresso or coffee Keurig machine. And I can tell you, just on having the opportunity to even present that, many individuals, when they come in on a Saturday at 1 or 1:30, and they are from central Nebraska and they're in a store similar to ours, they are a little bit more intimidated. And we offer that to them, and they perk up a little bit. And we found out that if you pour a glass of wine to a lady, it's 20 minutes to finish that. And that 20 minutes gives us a great opportunity to really use our selling talents and efforts. So I'm not going to encourage that if you have alcohol, but just from our point of view, it's worked very well.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a great point.
And particularly now, where you're going to have a lot of the traffic, but I can't tell you enough how ladies particularly, and even men, should like to have that opportunity to do that. It seems to me, in all the years I've been in business, it's kind of like walking into your home. And that's kind of the same barrier, and what happens is I think people open up a lot more and they don't feel as intimidated.
Right. Wonderful. Well, Heidi, this is Janelle. I'm going to let you kind of take over. If there's no more comments.
Perfect. Real quick, those have been some great comments. I am going to ask, does anybody have any other physical tips for getting customers into your store? All right. Well, then we'll move on to the next piece of the puzzle, which is harnessing digital marketing. So one of the things that the Nebraska Retail Federation and Grow Nebraska has worked to put together is a Shop for Nebraska campaign. And this is something, it's free for you to participate. We just want to promote you. We want to help drive customers to your businesses. So if you're interested, you can sign up on our website. If you go to grownebraska.org, there is a Shop for Nebraska tab. Click on that. There's a sign-up form. There's also a direct link to it in the handout that I sent. And once you sign up, you'll be redirected to a website page that has pre-designed graphics and branding that you can use for social media, for signage, anything you want to do with it. And it also has information about hashtags to use. The hashtag Shop for Nebraska with the number 4 is taking off, and we're building some synergy. There's a form there where you can send us information about upcoming events and things that you're going to be having at your storefronts, and we will promote them. We are also going to be listing all of our participants online, and we're going to do our best to help people find you. But we can't do everything. So there are some digital steps that you'll need to take yourself for your store. The very first thing that I recommend people do is set up a Google alert for your business. Does anybody on the call have a Google alert set up for their business currently?
We do at Simply Sunflower.
Awesome. Anybody else? All right. Well, it's really quick and easy. It's a great way to keep track of how you are being represented online. So there is a link in the handout. It's very simple. It's just google.com/alerts. If you go there, all you have to do is type in what you want to get an alert on. So, for example, Grow Nebraska, we have one set up. All we had to do was type in Grow Nebraska. We put it in quotes. Otherwise, we'd be getting a notification every time somebody put the word grow or somebody put the word Nebraska online, which would be a lot of posts. But if you put your business name in between quotes, you will get an email every time somebody posts either a news article, social media posts, anything like that on the internet that concerns your business. And you can set up the frequency of emails. So say you only want to get an update once a week, you can choose that. If you want to get one once a day, you can choose that. Or you can set it so that it emails you every single time a new post is posted right when it's posted. Great way to keep track of yourself. I'd also recommend Googling your business so that you can see how you're coming up to your customers. We live in a very mobile age, especially folks in the younger generation. They will just say, okay, Siri, or okay, Google, tell me what's a shop near me. You want to know what they're seeing and make sure it's what you want. So one of the important things to do is when you Google yourself, check and see if all of the listings online for your location are actually going to your location. This is huge for brick and mortar stores. One of my clients actually in Blair, Nebraska, Chili Dogs Foods of Fire, they have a gorgeous, gorgeous storefront. They have grills, they have barbecue sauces, they have jams and jellies and all sorts of Nebraska products. Great store. But I always have trouble getting there because when I Google them, it actually leads me down the road to a dirt parking lot that is about a half mile away from where I'm trying to get to. You don't want this happening to your customers, especially if you're trying to bring new customers in. It's hard for them to know where to go if the information is incorrect online. So for sure you need to check on your Google business listing and your Yelp listings. Make sure they're correct. Yelp is still smaller in Nebraska. Most people are going to use Google and Google Maps. But Yelp is taking off, and it is a great way to get indexed online. If you do not currently have a Google business listing or a Yelp listing, I did provide links in the handout, and it's really straightforward, but if you have any questions on getting those set up, feel free to give me a call. I will be sending out my contact information. I think you got it in the reminder email that we sent out yesterday as well. Another place where it's good to list yourself or to list your business is visitnebraska.com. So this is a website that was created by the Nebraska Tourism Commission, and it's a great place for people to go when they're already planning on shopping local. We have seen huge support for this kind of a cause, but people need to be aware of what businesses are available to them. So visitnebraska.com is one of the places where we've seen people going to find out what's nearby. Or if they know they're visiting a certain town, they'll check there to see what events are going on. So if you have like an open house, you'll want to make sure it's listed there. Or they'll look for the shopping experiences that they can get in that area. So I would also recommend setting yourself up with a listing on there. Now, for the holiday season, I do recommend heavily focusing on your Facebook promotions. So does everybody here have a Facebook business page?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. I guess I should ask, does anybody here not have a business Facebook page? Okay, that's great. Facebook is the widest reaching social media platform currently out there. It has the broadest audience, and so this is still the best place to advertise social media-wise. I would recommend, if you've never set up a Facebook ad, this might be the time to try it. And that is something, it's a little more complicated than we can necessarily go over in a conference call. But again, this is why you have a free half hour with a Grow Nebraska employee if you need it following the call. But we have been seeing huge success with Facebook, especially with Facebook Live videos. I strongly encourage you to give one of those a shot. It's a great way for reaching new customers who haven't necessarily seen you, and for reminding your loyal customers that you're here and that you have items available for their holiday shopping or for later on. So has anybody here not seen a Facebook Live video yet? Okay, that's encouraging. They're very easy to do. All you need is a smartphone with the Facebook app on it. You log in as your business, and when you go to post, one of the options will be to do a live video. They don't need to be fancy. They don't need to be long. We actually see huge success with the ones that are about 2 to 5 minutes long. Tend to be the best. You want to have enough time for your followers to see that you're live. but you don't want to go so long that they lose interest or click off. So keep it short and sweet. I'd recommend introducing yourself, greeting the people who are watching, telling them a little bit about what's going on at your business, what you have to offer, and then always end with a thank you. Thank them for watching, thank them for shopping with you, thank them for their interest. I know Janelle touched on it a little bit, but the gratitude is an easy and effective way to keep your loyal customers happy and to make your new customers feel special.
Heidi, this is Jim Otto. I have a question. Okay, let's say that Gary Novotny with Gary Michaels Clothers does a live video and puts it on the Gary Michaels Facebook page. Mm-hmm. Now, can I don't need to get it. Maybe probably need to talk to you privately, but so can I? So now I want to give that attention on the Nebraska Retail Facebook page. Mm-hmm. Is that easy to do or not easy to do? Or yep. Maybe I want to do it personally. I want to share it on my personal Facebook page.
Either or. You can share either one. What I would recommend doing after you share it is also tagging other people that you want to see the post. So, for example, Jim, if you wanted to reach Grow Nebraska's close to 10,000 Facebook followers, as well as your Facebook followers, as well as the Gary Michaels Facebook followers, you could share his live video, and then all you'd have to do is tag Grow Nebraska, and our followers would see it as well. You post it on your page, you share it on your page. It's very quick and easy, and it is actually very effective.
No, I think, I mean, you always wonder how many people see a newspaper ad, and this is starting to get very competitive with that. Not that I want to, I want our newspapers to continue to be successful, but.
The great news about social media is that you can firmly track how many people have seen a post, how many people have interacted with it. It's great for actually checking effectiveness. We know print ads can be effective, but it's a lot harder for us to figure out exactly how much.
This is Gary with Gary Michaels again.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to interject. We've been in business 33 years. I just turned 60 this year. I've been in business. Been in the retail business 40. So believe me, I can tell you how things have changed dramatically from print ads, from radio. There's so much other noise out there that I sat down here recently with a group in Lincoln, some really high, energetic, bright minds, and this was really tough for me to do because I'm kind of old school, but we just bit the bullet and figured that the new generation coming up has to be younger for our business. And the only way you can really accomplish that is to really make a good stab in social media. So we actually hired an agency here in town. I have a team of about 4 people working with us. They're going to be doing all of the Facebook, the Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Google, and following it. We're going to have them on board about 35 hours a week because we, and I say we, when you have staff that is, say, 40 years old on up, we're a little touch out of reality, and we don't have the time consequence to make this happen, because we're too busy getting clients in the store, buying and selling. So I think in visiting with this group, they were so energetic and intelligent, and they basically said that I actually went around and they gave me other business in Lincoln that they have as clients. And the ones that I visited with said, we wish we would have done this 5 years ago. The phone rings off the wall. Everybody's driven to the website. They're pre-sold and already have the purchase made up in their mind before they walk in or call you. And so what you're saying today is 100% fact. And it just takes old codgers like me to make the decision to say, hey, I'm going to go after this and change it up a little bit and take money out of our budgets to make sure this works. But I think that in the future, 5 years from now, if people aren't involved, you may not be here.
Right. Well, and I mean, we've known for years that word of mouth is our best marketing tool. And social media is especially the younger generation's new form of getting word of mouth recommendations, of seeing what their friends are interested in, and all that kind of good stuff. It's essential. You are exactly right. It is essential if you want to see success. So, and we do want to make it as easy as possible. I know a lot of you are strapped for time, and some of you can get teams, and some of you just, that's not on the table right now. So we do have resources for you if you don't have time to come up with posts, if you don't have time to do a quick live video. I do recommend signing up for that Shop for Nebraska toolkit. There are pre-made posts in there already, and we'll be sending more out. It's a quick and easy way. You get your posts already pre-made for you, and then you don't have to worry about it as much. And I can show you how to schedule them so you don't even have to be logged on every day. Another big thing going off of that, because online is the new word of mouth, especially for the younger generation, it's really important that you ask your customers to leave online reviews. I think the last number I saw from Constant Contact, they've got the big advertising bucks, so we take their statistics. The last number I saw is about 75% of people look to their friends and look at online reviews before making a purchase. So these are key. If you have a great customer who's in regularly, it's amazing what people will do if you just ask. A lot of people like to be helpful. If you have a good customer, ask them to go online and leave a review. It doesn't even have to be on your website. Have them leave it on your Google business listing, on your Yelp listing, anywhere where if people are searching, they'll find it. And again, consistency in your advertising, both online, in the newspaper, on the radio, consistency is always going to be your best friend. We want to keep you top of mind, not just now during the holidays, but throughout the year. We need customers year-round. And so if you're consistent with your marketing throughout the year, if you post regularly on Facebook, if you're active on Twitter, you're consistent on there, consistently posting every day, you will see returns. There's the marketing saying that people need to see something 4 to 7 times before they're willing to make a purchase. If you are consistently posting, you're going to knock those right out of the park, and they're going to be ready to buy when they walk in. And then another great thing to do online is to find a role model. If you're not 100% sure what you're doing in your digital marketing, find another store, follow them, visit their location, figure out what they're doing. Again, you don't have to recreate the wheel. That's part of why we're here today, is to talk about what works for everyone, sharing this knowledge, because when we all work together to promote shopping in Nebraska and shopping locally at our storefronts, then we all win. So does anybody have any suggestions or stories about things that have worked well for them online?
Well, if there aren't any specific retail store suggestions, this is Jim Otto again with the Nebraska Retail Federation, as Heidi and Janelle know, we've been going across the state, North Platte, Kearney, Grand Island here, and other places promoting Shop for Nebraska. The Grow Nebraska has been to them. We've done it together. Anyway, what is so neat about the online thing, in my opinion, is we'll get a story in the North Platte paper or on public radio or at the local TV station or whatever, and then we're able to post that to both the Nebraska Retail Facebook page, and then I always share it on my personal Facebook page. And I'm not so sure. Well, I mean, obviously we want the regular media, but the online thing is so much. I mean, it just adds so much to getting attention to our cause. And today we just did one at Gary's store. Gary Novotny's, Gary Michaels Clothers here in Lincoln, and the mayor was there, promoted Shop for Nebraska. And as soon as that's out online, you can always go to the online, whether it be the TV station, the radio station, the newspaper. Most of those articles or coverage are also online, and you just link those to your Facebook page, and everybody can see it. I don't know. I'm older than Gary, and it amazes me as to how well it works.
And if you have any questions, if you are wondering how effective your online and social media performance is, there are ways to track how effective your posts are. Facebook has insights. There are analytics for Twitter, for LinkedIn, everything like that. Is everybody using the analytics on their website? Do you ever get a report from your webmaster, your web host?
I have to admit that we get them and I don't pay enough attention to them, so obviously I got to do more with that.
Always good to review to see if what you're doing is working. That is something, too, if you want to set up your one-on-one time with me to evaluate your analytics and your social media, we can go over how effective it has been so far and how we can improve it.
This is Jim with 4-Star Card and Gift. We're using Facebook and we're using email, and we're still in the learning stages of getting it at a high. Kind of talk about, when you're doing e-blast and any tricks, to having it be more effective, having a higher open rate, and then just compare, an e-blast campaign and Facebook, and we're just kind of starting with the Instagram and the tweeting and stuff like that. Kind of compare those and how should a business utilize them different. I'm finding out I need to utilize Facebook differently than I do my email.
Oh, yes. So they're all different audiences. So especially the younger generation, it's hard to get them to open emails. A lot of people, probably 35 up, don't mind emails. That's actually their preferred method of communication. So the key there is actually going to be your subject line. So do you mind my asking what platform you're using to send out your emails?
Well, it's like Constant Contact, but it's actually a different version of it that's tied in with our point-of-sale system so that we can
wonderful.
We can direct it specifically to customers that have an interest. Got
it. One thing I would recommend is actually signing up for a MailChimp account. That's MailChimp. And you don't actually have to send your emails through here. If it's connected to your point of sale, keep using that platform. But if you get a MailChimp account, one of the tools that they have in their toolbox is actually a subject line tester. So you can type in what you're planning for your subject line, and it will tell you how people respond to the phrases in that subject line, if they're more likely to open or if they're not. It only takes about 30 seconds, and I know it saved me from sending out some emails with subject lines that people would never open. So that's a great tool. But you're going to want to keep in mind when you're sending out your email campaigns, keep them very simple, Usually just one call to action will be the most effective. And the subject line is going to be key. People also, and then the audience, if you keep in mind your audience is probably going to be that 35 plus is going to be where you're going to see it being effective. Facebook, again, you have a broader audience on Facebook. So the big thing there is to focus on video and visual posts. So posts that have pictures or video have higher engagement. So you're going to see it being a lot more effective there if you are using high-quality pictures. Instagram is the same way. Now, Instagram has a younger audience, and they tend to be looking for something a little bit different than on Facebook. On Facebook, people are looking for a little bit of everything. They're looking for news. They're looking for funny pictures. They're looking for updates on their friends and stores and deals. You've got a wide range. On Instagram, though, people are looking more to be inspired, and you do have a younger audience on Instagram. They're very fast-paced. You're not going to want a lot of text underneath your Instagram pictures, because if you do, people aren't going to read it. They want something that they can scroll by quickly, like it. If there's a link or directions on how to buy, that's about all you need in that post. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, on the handout, we did include another resource that we think is very helpful. It's called the Retail Doc. And now they do have services you can sign up for, but you don't necessarily need to do that. They just have some great ideas on their blog. So completely free, go read the blog. They have some great ideas on how to drive traffic and how to promote that loyalty. So I would recommend checking that out. And I hope all of you sign up for the Shop for Nebraska campaign. Whether or not you do, please use the hashtag to support shopping local and shopping at our storefronts. Again, the hashtag is #shop4 and Nebraska spelled out.
Could you say that one more time?
It's hashtag, so the pound sign, shop, the 4, and then Nebraska, all spelled out.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Are there any other questions?
Heidi, this is Jim Otto again. I don't have another question, but I just want one of the things that as I've been doing research onto how huge online shopping is, especially Amazon and all of the other out-of-state online sellers that have no connection to Nebraska. In 2014, Amazon alone sold more than $250 million, that's billion with a B, to Nebraskans, retail items to Nebraskans. That equates to over 1,600 retail employees, over 180 storefronts. So this is huge. I mean, the one thing that, I mean, obviously we want to level the playing field so that those people also have to collect and remit sales tax and not give them the 7 to 7.25% advantage. But there's also all these other things we have to do as brick and mortar stores to, I mean, it's a huge deal. We have to really step up to the plate, and we appreciate Grow Nebraska's help with this.
Yeah. I was pretty excited. I just found a statistic that said Americans spend on average about $700 during their holiday shopping. And if we spent just $64 locally, we could actually help create, 200,000 jobs, which is just a staggering number if we just spend $64 locally every one of us.
Is that a national number or?
That's a national number.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that would be fabulous if we got some of those jobs here in Nebraska.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think it's important for every retailer also, if it works, to tell their customers how big it is. I don't think customers realize that they could. I mean, that they're really not. They're hurting their local retail core, their local community's economy by doing it. So we all have to be. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I think we all have to be telling that story.
All right. Well, does anybody else have any suggestions, comments, questions? Otherwise, we'll probably wrap up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank all of you for joining today. I hope to see your sign-ups for the Shop for Nebraska campaign come through. And if you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to ask. Again, my contact information was in that reminder email, and I'll be sending it out again in a follow-up email, and we'll send out Jim's information as well.
And also, anybody that has other friends in retail, they can also sign up for Shop for Nebraska, and we'd encourage that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.